Question number 9, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Commerce and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Craig Foss.
Yes, and unlike the member's colleague, I'm careful not to use political rhetoric and exaggerating language to gain traction in issues.
Order. That won't help the Order of the House. The question's been answered. Supplementary question. Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. Why did the Minister tell this House on 19 February 2014 that he was not aware of any documents produced by his office regarding the concerns around the conduct of supermarkets until they were raised by my colleague, the Honourable Shane Jones, when on 29 January 2014 he met with Catherine Rich, Chief Executive of the Food and Grocery Council, who explicitly advised him of these concerns, and he subsequently had his office draft a file note of that meeting and potential responses to questioning on the issue?
Mr Speaker.
Order. Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, the specific allegations of Mr Jones of blackmail, extortion and retrospective payments were raised in the House around the time the member there mentioned. I did run into Catherine Rich at a function with about 100, 150 others. The specific issues that Mr Jones raised and talked about in the House for a couple of weeks, underprivileged, were not raised.
Order. Supplementary question, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Minister, how does the Minister reconcile his answer to this House on 19 February 2014 in answer to a question from the Honourable Shane Jones that, quote, I am not aware of any documents prepared by my office regarding the behaviour of supermarkets towards suppliers, unquote, when the file note he asked his office to prepare after his meeting with Catherine Rich on 29 January 2014 clearly stated, quote, Catherine Rich has raised an issue with the Minister around supermarkets using dominant buyer position to put pressure on suppliers, unquote.
Mr Speaker.
Order. Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, as I noted in my previous answer, the issues that Mr Jones raised were specific to blackmail, extortion and retrospective payments. The issues that were discussed very briefly with Catherine Rich at a function were about dominant behaviour, which is Section 36 of the Commerce Act, in the context of a much larger discussion about all sorts of matters in the industry.
Order.
Point of order, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table the said file note, reference MB Mako 143545590, noting the issues raised by Catherine Rich
I think that's sufficient
in respect of the meeting on the 29th.
Sufficient information. Leave is sought to table that particular file note. Is there any objection? Is there any objection? There is objection. Supplementary question, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. Given that concerns regarding supermarket conduct towards suppliers were raised with the National Government by the Food and Grocery Council directly and in correspondence as early as 2010, why has this government failed to take any action to date?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Craig Foss.
Those matters have not been raised with me directly at all, thus my answers in the House to the allegations of Mr Jones of blackmail, extortion and retrospective payments.
Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
My question related to the National Government of which the Minister is a member, therefore I seek leave to table a letter dated 6 August 2010 from Peter Silcock, the Chief Executive of Horticulture New Zealand, from the Minister of Commerce to Peter Silcock, dealing with the issues that Mr Silcock raised as per my answer.
Leave is sought to table a letter dated the 6th of August 2010 from the Minister to Mr Silcock. Is there any objection to that letter being tabled? There is objection. Supplementary question, Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
I think Mr Banks has practised his objection for court, sir. Supplementary to the Minister. Does the Minister feel it is appropriate to refuse to answer questions in this House on 19 February 2014 regarding Progressive Enterprises because it is the subject of an ongoing Commerce Commission investigation, but deems it appropriate to meet with Progressive Enterprises, the very entity currently being investigated by the Commission, to carve out a face-saving voluntary supermarket code of practice that no one supports?
Mr Speaker,
Craig Foss.
To the best of my recollection, Mr Speaker, I have not refused to answer any questions in this House about these matters.
Question number 10, Dr Jan Yang.
Mr.
Order.
Mr. Speaker,
Dr Jan Yang.
my question is to the Minister of Health.